Thank you. Thank you. Rich, I want to thank you for that great introduction, but more importantly, I want to thank you for your friendship. Over the years, we've worked on a number of things together. We've always been great friends, but most importantly, I want to thank you for your leadership, both here and in every job you've done. Let's hear it for a great leader. So, brothers and sisters, I got to tell you, it's good to have so many seasoned labor leaders and activists in our nation's capital. Seasoned, you like that word, Josh? Seasoned, yeah. Well, my seasoning, as you can see, is salt and pepper. More salt than pepper these days, but there's still a little bit of salt left up there with the pepper, I think. So seriously, though, it's good to have all of you in Washington. I know you've gathered from all across the country, and I know that you've been doing important work back in your home states. Not just important work, essential work. You've been growing the Alliance for Retired Americans, and you're on the move. You're chartered in, what is it now, Rich, 36 states? 36 states you're chartered in, and I got to tell you, that's powerful. People are paying attention. And you've stood up strong for a vision of a world where work is rewarded fairly, for a nation built on broadly shared prosperity, for raising wages economy that builds better lives for all of us, not just the chosen few, but all of us. And you know, when I think about seasoned leaders and people that have fought, I really do want to mention Barbara Easterling and Reuben for the great work that they've done over the years in not just leading this organization, but leading the American labor movement. I want to thank them for their dedication. I want to thank them for their commitment, and I want to thank them for the passion that they showed for this work and for standing up for their brothers and sisters every single day of their career. Please join me in thanking them. You know, together in this room, we have a lot of union experience. And you know how important it is for working men and women to stand together, not just in big election years and during contract fights, but day in and day out. Whenever you're getting harassed by someone and a brother or a sister stand up for you at that very moment. When you've lost someone, don't know which direction you're going to go to or where you're going to go, that brother or sister stands with you. You see, that's the kind of solidarity that we stand for. And you've done the hard work, and you've made your unions work, and you've made your community stronger. And that's been selfless work because you've done it over day in and day out over a number of years, and there wasn't a lot of headlines there each day when you were contributing something to make our country or our community a better place to stand, a better place to live, a better place to be. Those efforts of uncommon men and women like you, when you put them all together, they sure create something pretty, very uncommon and wonderful that we've been able to do together. You know, I think it's important, so important for us, as we turn our entire country toward the core values of unionism, that you and your members continue to lead the way. And you have, and you do it. You do it when you turn out for rallies in your hometown, and you do it when you volunteer at a phone bank. You do it when you're active in your labor councils and in your federations of labor. And I got to tell you, brothers and sisters, that's how we pass along generational knowledge. That's how we show our younger members and our community allies that our unions lift up all working people, not just some, but we lift up all working people. See, we stand with car wash workers and taxi drivers and domestic workers and retail workers, factory workers, office workers, pilots, nurses, professionals, teachers. And whenever one group is down, we're all there to help them get back up because we are all truly connected. And you know, raising wages is how we lift our families and our communities. And when I talk about raising wages, I'm talking about that in the broad sense. I'm talking about fighting for equal pay for women so they don't earn 76 cents on a dollar anymore. I'm talking about creating a pathway to citizenship so that 11.5 million immigrants that are here get a fair shake and a fair day's pay and fair treatment. I'm talking about fighting for every life matters so that we end mass incarceration and that a third of our African American community isn't incarcerated for insignificant, petty, nonsensical things. And in that sense, raising wages will kickstart the greatest engine of economic growth that the world has ever seen. And that's a well-paid workforce. Because when workers have money in their pocket, they can spend, they can buy, they create demand. And when they create demand, jobs follow in the wake of that demand to fill that demand. Now think about this. One day this spring, in just one day, in a 24-hour period, communication workers and the electrical workers in New England won significant raises, and the communication workers in Brooklyn won their first contract with wage increases and better benefits, strong wage increases. And over the course of just 2 weeks after that, 2 million non-union workers won raises from Walmart and a half a dozen other national retailers. You see, those raises just didn't happen. They just didn't fall out of the sky. Walmart didn't wake up one day and say, oh, I got to pay my people more than the minimum wage. No, they came through activism. They came through your activism. They came through a collective voice, your collective voice, with our brothers and sisters all throughout the economy. And I got to tell you, that was big. That's real. That's something that you did. And when IKEA raised wages across the board, the results were so good, they came back and raised pay a second time. Now that's what I call a real win, right? And those wage gains, those wage wins, I'd like to say this about them. If a little bit is good, a whole lot is going to be better. And we deserve a whole lot, don't you think? Listen, I appreciate the hard work that you've done. Fighting Fast Track and the Trans-Pacific Partnership these past months. And I know you'll keep fighting. See, we're done with those bad trade deals that are full of corporate entitlements, that have killed jobs, that are weakening America. For far, far, far too long we've had that. See, the American people don't like bad trade deals. But some of the politicians on Capitol Hill, well, they aren't quite listening yet. They aren't quite hearing what almost 70-some% of the American public saying no. They're not hearing us yet. See, your voice on that very issue is powerful. And when we fight TPP, we're building power. you're building power. And it doesn't depend on winning or losing a vote in the Senate. We're building real, permanent power. We're building real, permanent power for a new America. And I can tell you something, I can promise you something. We're not going to stop. We're going to remember those that stood with us and those that stood against us. And we are going to reward those that stood with us and give those that were against us a little bit of the unemployment line. So I appreciate all that you've done. You've stood strong to raise the minimum wage. You've stood strong to fight for affordable prescription drugs for seniors. You're ready to protect Medicare from the voucherizing Representative Paul Ryan. Yeah, he's so bad they created a new word, voucherizing. But I got a better description for you than voucherizing. It ought to be called vulturizing, because that's what he's trying to do to us. See, you've raised your voices to strengthen, not simply defend, but strengthen Social Security. And let me be clear about this. Let me be crystal clear about this. When I say strengthening Social Security, I don't mean with good gestures and a nod of the hat. I mean with real money so it can pay better benefits for a longer period of time. So when you take your ideas to Capitol Hill on Thursday, you're going to be telling the politicians there that we intend collectively to hold them accountable for the votes that they take and for the decisions that they make. Tell them that we're watching and we vote and we won't forget. We'll remember a long time. We'll remember our friends and we'll remember those that forgot that they were our friends. Let me put it that way. And I got to tell you this, if anybody asks you why retirees want to raise the minimum wage, well, you tell them that a lot of our seniors are working for minimum wage right now because they have to. They don't get a good enough pension and enough security. They have to work. They can't afford not to. Tell them that raising wages will increase opportunity for workers of all ages. With higher wages, those workers will pay more taxes, which will improve the bottom line in our local, in our state, and in our federal governments. Tell them that raising wages will mean more revenue for Social Security and better benefits for the workers whenever we retire and for those that are already retired. You tell them that raising wages works and it'll build America up. Because you see, that's how we rise. It's the way that it's past time for us, all of us, to rise up again. And we'll bring with us all the workers and all the families and all who believe in the American dream. See, you got a heck of a lineup for your conference there. I don't know how you did this, but you got Elizabeth Warren and you got Nancy Pelosi, two of the most charismatic, powerful leaders that the country's ever seen. And I can't wait for Nancy Pelosi to be the Speaker of the House again, so we have sanity there. And then you got a whole lot of other genuine champions that are going to be here today and tomorrow, and that's great. You know why? Because we're part of a very powerful movement, and it's a very historic moment. And in your retirement, you're on the front lines. And when you go back home, you'll be better prepared with what you gained here to push our movement forward. And for that, I say thank you. From every last American out there, thank you. Thanks for what you've done, and thanks for what you will do. And our extreme right political opponents and corporate CEOs, you see, they're going to challenge us at every single turn. They're going to throw so much money at us, they think that we're going to cower to it. So somehow, because they got some green, we're going to turn blue and hide, and we're going to lose our voice. God, they don't know us, do they? All they do, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. Gets me ready to charge anyway, I can tell you that. But nobody and nothing, remember this, nobody and nothing can match the breadth and the scope of the American labor movement. And when we unite with our allies and our partners, and when we stand together with those who share our vision and our values, no one and nothing can turn us around, because we are the vast, vast, vast majority of American people. They agree with our vision and with our values. You see, this is our day and this is our time. This is our rights, our voice, our power, our country, and we will do better when we do it together. So declare with me today that we'll march for it, we'll fight for it, we'll organize for it, we'll mobilize for it, we'll keep building and winning, building a better future for us and for our kids and for their kids, together today, together tomorrow, together for as long as it takes to make America that we read about, that we fought for, that we believe in, that we deserve, and that we will have once again because of you. God bless you.